Few foods are as universal and as deceptively simple as the sandwich.
Here come the sandwiches.
2 pieces of bread, something in between, and you have a complete meal you can hold in your hand. It's practical, portable, and endlessly adaptable.
Corned beef, imported Swiss, lettuce, Russian dressing, coleslaw, kosher pickle, slice of tomato, mayonnaise, peanut butter, horseradish, and a little hot mustard.
No thanks.
Sure now, it's an awful good sandwich.
Sounds like a 7-course meal.
Well, it's a little filling.
But the sandwich we know today is the product of centuries of culinary evolution, shaped by culture, convenience, and necessity. The idea of placing food between bread isn't modern. In the Middle East, more than 2,000 years ago, people used flatbreads to scoop up meats and vegetables. The Greeks had pita filled with meats and cheeses. In Jewish tradition, matzo sandwiches were eaten during Passover. And in medieval Europe, thick slabs of stale bread, called trenchers, served as plates, soaking up meat juices and often eaten afterward. These weren't called sandwiches yet, but the principle was already there. Bread as a convenient vessel for other foods. The word sandwich arrives in the 18th century with John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich. According to the most famous story, Montagu was an avid gambler who didn't want to stop playing cards to eat. He asked for slices of meat placed between 2 pieces of bread so he could eat without using utensils. Other gamblers began asking for the same as sandwich, and before long, his title was attached to the food. In short, the Earl of Sandwich gave his name to the dish, not by inventing it from scratch, but by popularizing the idea and giving it an identity. And here's a detail worth sharing at your next lunch. The first written mention of a sandwich comes from 1762 in the diary of Edward Gibbon, the historian famous for writing The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. Gibbon recorded seeing men in a fashionable London gambling club eating, quote, a bit of cold meat or a sandwich. So while Gibbon is remembered as the man who chronicled the fall of Rome, he also gave us the first known description of a sandwich being eaten. As bread became more widely available, the sandwich spread internationally. In France, the croque monsieur became a café staple, toasted bread with ham and cheese, sometimes topped with bechamel sauce. In Vietnam, French baguettes introduced during colonial rule combined with pickled vegetables, fresh herbs, and pork to create the banh mi, one of the most celebrated street foods in the world. In Mexico, the torta emerged as a hearty sandwich on a crusty roll, filled with everything from beans and cheese to grilled meats. Across the Middle East, falafel wrapped in pita became both street food and cultural symbol. And in Britain, the cucumber sandwich, delicate and crustless, became synonymous with tea time and social ritual. Meanwhile, in the United States, industrialization changed everything. With the invention of mass-produced sliced bread in 1928 by Otto Rohwedder, sandwiches became faster and easier to prepare. His machine was so revolutionary that the best thing since sliced bread became a saying we still use today. Pre-sliced bread helped fuel the rise of packaged lunch meats and condiments, making sandwiches a daily staple for millions of Americans. Each region of the United States soon developed its own signature sandwich. Philadelphia became home to the cheesesteak, thinly sliced beef, and melted cheese on a hoagie roll.
Kevin, I want you to move to Philadelphia and learn everything about making an authentic Philly cheesesteak.
I'll do my best, sir.
Kevin!
Yo, Jackie! How's it hanging, bro? I soaked up Philly like a sponge.
My new Philly cheesesteak is the real deal. Marinated sliced steak smothered with grilled onions and melting cheese on a hearth-baked steak roll. It's really authentic.
How you doing?
Maybe a little too authentic.
New Orleans gave us the po' boy, originally served to feed striking streetcar workers in the 1920s. Miami popularized the Cuban sandwich, a pressed combination of roast pork, ham, Swiss cheese, pickles, and mustard. New England offered the lobster roll, while Chicago developed the Italian beef sandwich. Each one reflects local culture, ingredients, and history. Sandwiches also carried symbolism. Peanut butter and jelly, popularized in the early 20th century, became a quintessential American childhood meal. Cheap, filling, and easy to prepare. Jewish immigrants introduced pastrami on rye and the Reuben, sandwiches that became iconic deli staples. And for Elvis Presley, the peanut butter, banana, and bacon sandwich became part of his legend, immortalized as the Elvis. By the mid-20th century, fast food chains turned sandwiches, especially the hamburger, into global icons of American culture. Diners across the country served clubs, subs, and BLTs. The convenience and portability made the sandwich inseparable from modern routines. Today, the sandwich is one of the most versatile foods in the world.
Fluffernutter? Mm-hmm. Is that right?
From elaborate gourmet creations to the simplest ham and cheese, it adapts to every culture and every budget. Whether it's banh mi on the streets of Ho Chi Minh City, a pastrami on rye in New York, or a PB&J in a lunchbox, sandwiches connect us across cultures and generations. Its history shows us that the simplest ideas often last the longest. Bread, a filling, and the human need for a quick, satisfying meal. The sandwich is, quite literally, history you can hold in your hand. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this look at the history of the sandwich, consider subscribing for more explorations of food and history. And let us know in the comments, what's the best sandwich you've ever had?